G'day, how you going? Rod Ibrak from Price of Wealth, and hope everyone's doing well. This is today I'm going to want to talk about 10 things about 10 points about getting things done. Not just getting things done, really getting to what you really want. Right. So I don't know what it is for you. Could be that what you want done is you want just more time with the kids, more time with the family. Or it might be you want a better car. You might you might even just want a car, or you might just want a diploma. You want education, or you might want to travel. There's lots of places around the world, magnificent places. I've not yet been, but boy, you can search on the net and just go, wow. Lovely places around the world to go and see. It might not have anything to do with travel. It might be that you've got a burn to help malnourished nations, or nations in area where they need help in their everyday living, and shown how to do better and survive. There's different groups and people around the world that help in those areas. Right? That might be your burn. It could be I said cars, but it could be motorcycles. Could be it could be sports. It could be sports. Soccer, football, cricket, baseball, gridiron. Maybe that's the thing that you like. My things, I've got particular things that look. I love music, and I fanatical about motorcycles. Huge passion in motorcycles, and farming was still is something I'm really attracted to. So when I say attracted to, that's interesting. Attracted to attractor. Right? That's one of mine on my vision board. Right? So I got which I sort of believe that if you before you really go out and make things happen, it's a little bit more about what is it that you really want. Might be a partner, that's maybe you just want to attract a partner that you wake up to next to in the morning. Might be that. It may be that you don't want the partner. It can be that too. It's I've got for me a big drive. I love aircraft as well. aircraft is just there's something about aircraft that really gets me going. It's just I don't know. There's something. It's a sort of sense of freedom that getting off and you're sitting on a runway and you're buckled in. Aircraft sort of becomes quiet. You can hear the noises, and the pilot puts the thrust, turns the thrust on, and you sink back into the chair and feel the acceleration to a point where you're off the ground. Might be that. It is for me. You know, the whole business of getting up off the ground. What it takes, you know, it's probably funny that some things do take a lot of thrust, a lot of effort to get airborne. But I like the whole bit about aircraft of the struggle to get there and to get off the ground. I love that stuff. That's just it in a bit for me. So I guess what it is good to be writing this down, is to get really focused on what it is you want. You definitely have to know you know, what it is and why it is. You know, so why would you ever, you know, for me, why would I struggle to do anything? Well, I can say just thinking about aircraft is enough for me to put in a lot of effort. So there's everything about aircraft I love. Everything about it. I just do. I don't. Yeah. So, moving on from being focused on what you want. Is you could likely to have some sort of limiting beliefs about being able to have a vehicle or have a source of income or create a source of income to be able to support what it is that you want. That's your why. You know, that's the second you dare to dream about what it is that you're really passionate about. The very first hurdle that seems to come along is not so much of the externals, you know, what happens outside in the world, you know, between you and your goal, or you and your passion, or your and you and what it is that you want. You might have a physical barrier for you to getting anywhere near that you want, but and when you hit it, where it becomes a larger problem than what it really is when you believe that, when you take the belief of what's in your way to be true and to be true to stop you. Right, so a limiting belief might be that, let's say, aircraft, let's say for my example, aircraft was never meant to be for me. Or I could never afford to be on aircraft, particularly at a level and for the frequency that I'd like to be doing. And that limiting belief may come from all sorts of areas in your life. That might be from your upbringing, might be from school, might be from friends that you grew up with. It could be from brothers, sisters. Limiting beliefs really is all about it's where you've created a meaning to something, and it's gone to more than a meaning, it's to a belief. So that's so one thing to do is definitely run a journal, run a diary on what are you experiencing, is where are you getting stuck, what seems to be getting in your way, particularly when you lose or you seem to be excited about what it is that you're doing. You go on the path and you get some resistance to doing it, whether it's by people, friends, work colleagues, or you're just how you think about it and how your enthusiasm might change. You might be enthusiastic for one moment and then not the next, just with a little bit of resistance that goes along the way. So eliminating limiting beliefs is probably a big part of getting your resistance, and I'm talking about your own internal resistance out of the way. If it was a let's just say that there was too much resistance for the aircraft to get up to the speed before it could get liftoff. And that resistance might be, I'm really talking about just not so much the real whether there actually physically is enough or not. It might be the belief of the pilot that this aircraft hasn't got what it takes to get off the ground. And he might think, who knows, he might think that, hey, we've just got too much baggage on board. And with the extra baggage, we have not got enough runway to get liftoff. Now, that's a little bit like how we think. Because if we do have any doubt in ourselves to be able to get enough momentum to get somewhere, we may defeat ourselves before we start. Have you ever started something and pretty quickly concluded that you haven't got what it took or what it takes to get that done? It's just not for you. It's pretty normal thing to self-preserve yourself and believe that no, I'm not going to, that's not for me, I'm not going to get that done. Now, getting back to the why, if you've got enough burn and you've got enough drive, and you've done some work on your limiting beliefs, you've identified what they are, and that's what's really good to have a journal. You might then start to work on getting those limiting beliefs out the way. And it might be just as simple as dropping your baggage off the plane. Lighten up your own load. Getting things off. Lightening the load. After all, some trips, your goal might only be a 3-day trip, and no point in having all that baggage for when all you need is just enough resources to get you through the 3 days. What's the point in having more? And we collect all this all our lives. Keep on collecting what we think we need and what someone else tells us we might need. It's not really always a good idea to take on board other people's opinions unless they actually have done what you intend and what goal that you want to achieve. Right? It's been very protective about who your coach's mentors are. That's that one there. Going on is upping where and how you're turning up, and it might, which is sort of speaks to enthusiasm, if you like, about I don't on a day of whenever I'm travelling, right, and I've gone and booked flights and done all the stuff, collected the things that I'm going to take, and get yourself to the airport on time, get in early a bit, and but usually the way that I feel inside, the way that I feel is a bit of anticipation of getting the aircraft again. And I know I'm going to a destination, and this is a transport, but I love flying. Right? So it might be that you love getting to your destination too. Might be got nothing about flying, and you're just going to go, on the day you're getting anticipation about, it's catching up with your relatives, or it's for me going to a seminar or going to somewhere where I'm going to learn a whole heap of stuff that is going to help me live my the best life, the best or my dream life, if you like, and bringing my dream life closer to reality. Right? So it's going to take work to get there. Right? So it's nothing for nothing. It's yeah. So what we're really talking about is getting that feeling of getting that feeling of excitement, and yeah. So sometimes you got to, it's just that only just takes a thought for me. A thought of the sound of an aircraft, or remembering the recorded message on an aircraft, but and all they're going through the safety procedures, the whole experience of going through the airport. It just gets like gets my heart rate definitely moves up a notch or two, and I don't mean crazy, it just genuinely has me up. And so what I'm really talking about is being up, particularly with stuff or things that that you have to do to get to, it depends on what vehicle you're using to create wealth, of course. But there's always going to be some tough jobs to be doing. In that creation of wealth, right? And always being doing the tough jobs, but knowing that's leading you to might be your partner, your future partner, or your travelling around the world to places that you really want to go. Sports, it could be cars, motorcycles, it could be material things, it might be had nothing to do with material, it might be people, it might be your ideal partner, it might be that it is your family that you actually love to spend time with. Those are the things that might be the things that really warm you up and enable you to do and learn new tasks and get good at those tasks, and the process of doing them, is sort of learning to connect the things that you love, right, to the things that aren't so nice and pretty, that you don't particularly like. But when you combine the two, you start to like and start to get good at. And the better that you get good at different tasks, particularly ones that are hard to do, or difficult to do, or it's not your, you might be, it's not my thing, right? You just got to consider. We just spoke about limiting beliefs, and there's one there. Okay, it's not my thing. Who said it? Where did it's not my thing come from? That's a limiting belief, right? That's what that is. Where it comes from, you want to deal with it, because that might be the thing that look, it might, you see, for me it's a little bit more, you know, you might not realise what you're potentially can do. You might not realise it. And just you achieving things can be the very thing that the people around you need to see. Just might be that. And that effect can have a massive effect in the world. That's the part that I'm excited about. Right, is that, you know, if we all did a little bit better and tried a little bit and found out that what we thought was the truth isn't. And we found that by putting some action together and starting to learn the process of tough jobs that aren't, that initially you think that you can't do, or you believe you can't do, but that you can. You know, they're the things that I get excited about. I get excited about for me and for other people. Now, when we talk about goals, we want to be talking about goals, and this sounds a little bit woo-woo in a way, right? Is that we want to be talking about things that haven't happened yet, that are part of our goals and dreams, and the vision of things that really pump us up. For example, right now, I'm doing the video, right? And I haven't booked any flights yet, but I've got on the horizon one that I'd like to be at in June, I think it is. I'll have to look up the dates. Now I haven't decided to go, but you know something, I'm tempted and I want to go. I think, no, I do. I do want to go. But what's getting me a little more excited right now is that I'm talking about something that hasn't happened yet. I haven't even committed to yet. All I've gone and told you and told me, I'm just going to told me, right, is that I'd like to go. I'd like to go. And that's my body's, I can't tell, I'm a little bit up now, right now, because I'm talking about something that involves something I love to do. You know what that is. So I want to get up in the plane and take off. Oh. So what we're talking about really, what we're talking about is if it is a car, particularly car that you don't have, that you want, what sort of car is it? What year is it? Model? Colour it is? Go out, get on the net and find it, print pictures of it, put it on your vision board, and get out and book yourself into a car dealer for a test drive. Go and drive it. Go and test drive it. And when you're test driving it, imagine that this is what it's going to feel like when you go to pick it up, because it is then yours. So what I'm talking about is using as if it is now your goal, your dream, your desire, getting a sense of how it feels, what colour it is, how it sounds, all those things make that like for me, I was just talking about going to June. Now I cannot get back off that. I'm excited now. I'm excited now. And you go, oh, jeez, this fella, 62-year-old, he doesn't look very excited. Hey, this is what a 60-year-old looks like when he's excited. I don't know, you can't tell that much, I suppose, but you know, my heart's going inside. It's going. Yeah, it's that. You know, it works. Does I got a workmate that says trust me all the time, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go, hey, have it a go and see what. Give these things a go. You might get to have some trust in these things, because I've done these things, and it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference to you being willing to do the work to get stuff done, because your aspirations are things that you love. So if it's not a car, you know, it might be a house, it might be land, it might be look, maybe you're a fashion queen, maybe you love fashion, you don't even maybe it might be bags, it might be jewelry, it might be you know, it could be I don't know what it is. It's just things that only you know, that is right, hard to resist. Those things, they're the things that you know that we're talking about, bringing them into into what isn't there yet, into the senses of what it is to be there. Right, so like as if it is right now, right, that you have obtained or experienced or brought that into your world. So we're going to talk about that. Which that includes. It also includes with some things, your goals and dreams, desire might be a sense of who you're being to be that. For example, it may be that you found a mentor that's already done your goal, and their values and beliefs are in a certain way, and you are you, of course, and we're talking about values and beliefs now, and we're talking about the state that your mental state where you might want to be to achieve that. It might be for a politician, it might be one sort of mental state of being as a statesman. For a performer, say a comic performer, might be a completely different state of being. And for an actor, it might be a state of being in the character of who they're performing. It could be that state. It's important to know that who you are, but also who you are and what state of being you need to be in to achieve that as a person, as a goal. What state, so adopt or take on a state of, for example, for me, I'm in a state of euphoria because I'm in a chair in an aircraft that's just hit the thrust, which that's my state. It makes me feel straight away butterfly. That's my state. That's my statement. They're going to go, man, I love it every time. Every time, I love it every time. So it's a mental state of being. And in that case, I'm being the passenger. I'm being the passenger, and as we talked about a bit earlier on, I dropped me baggage that I didn't need. Got a whole heap of stuff that I'm never going to use in 3 days. Even if it was 3 weeks, do you need that much baggage? Really? The airline doesn't want it. You can pay for it if you want, right? And it'll cost you to drag all this baggage around. How much does it cost? What's the price of baggage? It's gonna go, man. And you look, I'm no spring chicken at 62. And you go, yeah, I've been around. This going, I've been around. What does that mean? I've been around. Get the baggage, drop it. It might give you experience in a certain way. Some is okay, right? But I'd suggest to you that when it comes to the dream builders and the visionaries and you want to get, I won't use swear words, right? Okay, but you want to get stuff done, right? And you got a good, you figured out, there's things to learn to get drive, right? There's new tools that you want to be using to get there, right? And they're not tools that you normally, most of us don't get to, grow up with. Very few people that have been growing up with a mum and dad, or I'd say mummy and daddy, doesn't matter how you put it, mum and dad, is that they did the best that they could with what they had, right? And you might be lucky that you had some people have had tremendously up there because they've had actually early exposure and of uh, good mentors, so they'd had a springboard, and you wonder how did they get? And then when you have a look at it, you're going to go, oh, it's not because they had wealthy parents. It's because they had parents that had really strong mindsets, and they learnt them from coaches as well. They learnt them from mentors and coaches, right? And in some ways, it's handed down through generations in some cultures. You know, it's so. What I'm really saying is that your mental state, your results is really dependent upon having the mental state in relation to the goal, right? So in my relation to being a passenger in an aircraft, buckled in, I'm in a state of euphoria. I've done all the discipline to buy the ticket, pay for the ticket, be on time, get in the aircraft, not have too, well, I'm going to go on and about again, not have too much baggage. And in that state, being in the craft when it becomes airborne, and for me that's free. That's, you know, you do say free as a bird, but you know, you're off the ground, right? That is enough momentum to actually get somewhere. I talked a little bit about before keeping a diary or a journal about things, how you're feeling, how you're tracking, how you're going with it now. As you go along, there are good things to be doing, to be writing down stuff, because in what you're writing down is good reference, because you can then start to over time reward yourself for some progress, but also on top of that start to identify what your beliefs are, and in particular what your limiting beliefs are. You know, what is it that you hit that you thought was a really good reason that it couldn't be done, right? That you later then tested that and found out that's not the truth. That isn't, right? You thought it was. You thought you didn't have enough time, or you thought that you didn't have what it takes, or you thought that only wealthy people become wealthy. Sounds a bit stupid, doesn't it? So only the sons and daughters of wealthy people become wealthy. Or being wealthy is evil, or being wealthy is less of a human being than someone that isn't. Right. Journaling is way to just honestly put down what it is that you're going through, and it's for your eyes. It's it's for you to grow and learn over time. Now, one thing probably me and I guess many many people, not all, not everybody, but one thing to know is when you really get to being specific about what you want, and you know what it is that you want, right? And so you start going about getting together with your resources, collecting your resources about getting the goal and the dreams, the things that you need, that you've set to get, right? Of course you're going to need people and resources to get that done. It's a bit of a joint venture, if you like, and that might be... See, joint venture, that joint venture could very well come under... No, I'm not going to do that because that's never works out. Now, that could very well be under your list of limiting beliefs. Maybe it's something that you want to have a look at. To look at the mentors that have achieved just the goal that you want to achieve, right? And just test that out. Have they been doing joint ventures? Have they been doing that to get to where they've got to, if that's what your goal is, right? So ask just look, the internet and the resources are just everywhere in the world, all right? So you can go out and search out, but with the question in mind, right? If joint ventures happens to be a thing, a no-go zone for you, all right? If that happens to be, all right, that may be a limiting belief, maybe. However, no one's going to change your mind except you. And how strong is your why? If your why is strong enough and you've really worked on what's your why, I love bikes. I love race bikes. All my life. And I got a particular one that I really, I did some racing early in my life, and it's a great experience, great memories. Anyway, the thing about knowing your why is that you can definitely go out and find mentors that have achieved that. Right. And with that, you can break that down to what their beliefs were. What do they believe about stuff? There's plenty of interviews about people, gold medalists. I'm not saying everyone wants to be gold medalists, but what I am saying is that there's mentors around that in the world that have achieved what it is that you want to achieve. And you go, well, I want to be unique. Well, you are unique. Thing is, you might be a secret, but there is only one of you in the world. Only one. So, looking to a mentor that has done what you want to do is still for you to do it is still unique. Because you're never going to be exact as a mentor. You're going to learn what it is that they sacrifice, what they traded for in values and beliefs and all that. But you are going to be uniquely you, because there is only one of you. Right. And the importance of being only one of you is that in the beginning, your DNA is the one that won that first race. That's won the first race, as you were conceived. So that makes you very unique, and that's for every single person on the planet. Every single person on the planet is unique. It's pretty special. We're all pretty special. Every single one of us. So make sure that you ask for what you're after, what you want, what your dreams are, what your goals are, what it is that you need as a resource. Ask for what you need. Don't be scared. Ask for what it is that you need, and you'll be surprised what pops up, because the resources are all there, and there's plenty of people around that throughout their time have needed to ask and recognise that someone asking is quite joyous to help. So do ask for what you want. Don't have that stop you, right? Don't go, oh well, I don't ask for anything, or I don't need help, or I don't do joint venture, or I don't work with people, I do any of that. That's where you get back to your journal and write stuff down, right? The very things that you have issues with are the things that is where your gold is. And you go, oh, that's not really me. Of course it's not you. It's not meant to be you, right? But your goals and dreams and desires are. And they're worth fighting for. Yeah, they really are. They're worth fighting for. We'll talk a little bit about it, and it's not all the time, but I guess as often as you can is being glad, or taking stock of what it is that you're most happy about right now. What is it that practice this often. It's great to start the day with. What is it that I'm most happy about today? And sometimes you have to dig deep. And it's possible some days you just don't. However, this is to get to your goals is to be reminding yourself What are you most happy about? And sometimes that happens to be your mini goals and your little tasks, your little wins. Just the tiny little wins that you've been grateful for. It doesn't always have to be the big desire, the big dream, the big goal to be happy about. Little things, and it could be just anything. It could be, I'm really happy about the family. I'm really grateful for the chance to make progress today. You may, for some, health is a big thing, and without 100% or without a really strong or a strong health, you may be grateful for having what you do have. And it might not be 100% health. That's not an automatic for any of us. So being grateful for if it's a health issue, being grateful for what you can do, rather than the things that you'd struggle with. For sometimes it's a day at a time. For sometimes it's an hour at a time, and for might be for a minute at a time, and it could be from a moment. Definitely on the value list of things, and I've spoke about it before, is that health needs to be number one, to look after your health as best you are able. It is that important. So what we're really talking about is asking yourself what it is that you're happy about today, and taking stock of what it is that you've achieved along the way, and it can be little wins, but it can be struggles as well, and recognising the struggles and being happy about going through those struggles and learning what you've learnt from those struggles. Right? The struggles are struggles because the struggles are you either take a win or take a learning lesson, and a lot of times that might feel like a pushback or a step back, but there's always the silver lining to the cloud, right? And the silver lining usually that's the reason why it's called silver. It wouldn't be any other colour. Silver, right? That is meaning the valuable part. The valuable part of going through. So really being grateful as many times as you can, on a daily basis even, as many times as you can. Definitely helps. Definitely helps. I've spoken about this one before, and I'm just going to mention it again. We're talking about what the real the value of letting go, and it could be that maybe at school you got picked on. I don't know. Or maybe you felt that you weren't treated right by the teacher. Or I don't know, maybe your brother or sister or all your brothers and sisters didn't treat you well. Or maybe your parents didn't treat you well. Or maybe you didn't treat someone well. Or maybe you just made mistakes. Or a mistake. That the thing with it is that what's the value? What's the real value of holding on to that? What's the cost? What's the cost of being holding on to bitterness and being or holding on to the negative part of it, in so much as if that didn't happen, I would not have failed at all these things. What's the cost of using that as a reason why you're not getting your goals and dreams? What's the price? What is the real price? You see, we hang on to things thinking that they're serving us. That's the baddie was there. They were morally wrong. They were abusive. They were, for whatever reason, whatever it is, whilst the monkey, and I'm not saying you're a monkey, I'm not saying that at all, right? I'm just saying we're talking about an example now, right? I'm not a monkey either, so don't think that I think that I am. I'm not. I'm just talking about the story about the monkey that's got the hand in the jar around the banana. I don't know whether it's banana, but it might be, it might be an apple, right? More like an apple in a jar, big enough jar for an apple to be in, right? But the monkey's got that hand in the jar, right? But whilst the grip is on the apple, can't get the hand out of the jar. So for as long as the monkey holds on to that apple, the price is that the apple's unobtainable. And you go, yeah, duh, Fred, right? Yeah, okay. You're a wise guy, yeah? I'm not, no, I'm not. So what we're really saying is, out of the dumb things that you may be hanging on to, and it might, it might talk to sadness, it might talk to guilt, it might talk to, guilt on others, it might be all sorts of stuff that you're hanging on to, resentments, where someone took something from you, right? Years ago, I told you I love bikes, right? Years ago, getting ready to, early 20s, and getting ready to get the first property I've ever had actually in my life, partner at the time. And so we had to sell some things to get a deposit and all that, and one of them that had to go was the sacrifice was one of the motorcycles that I actually brought as incomplete. It was bits and pieces of a motorcycle, but me being a maintenance fitter, that's my trade, right? That's not who I am, by the way. And if you're a doctor, a scientist, or a dentist, or a nurse, as much as we appreciate in the times of COVID and all of that, take my hat off to the professionals in the COVID times, right? Yeah, I have to do that because you deserve that sort of respect. But what I'm saying is that if you're a doctor or a nurse or dentist or a fitter like me, right, you are so much more than that, right? We as human beings, right, male or female or on whatever occasion that you are at, right, you are so much more than just your occupation, and you are way more valuable than what you figure. Definitely, way more valuable. Right, so the price of hanging on to guilt, resentments, mistakes, things that you did wrong, hanging on to them, right, doesn't serve anybody. Will stop you from the people and resources of what you need to be able to get on with hanging on and hanging on to those resentments, those guilt, those just so what we're really talking about is the power of letting go, right? Letting go, and definitely take in the learning of letting go. Definitely take a learning from it. Take learning, put that away in a positive light. Take the learning in a positive light and let that go. Let it go. Yeah, and it's a way to be able to take the weight off you. The other people or things or or emotions way off when you let it go. And the monkey may just even have a possibility of fluking, turning the jar upside down. It's possible. We're not monkeys, I know that. But definitely, our mindsets can be restricted like that, and can prevent us from getting the apple. And you might really want that apple. You might really want it. If the apple's your wine, you'll definitely want to find out what's stopping you. And one thing is letting go. Let go of the crap. Let it go. Let it go. And finally, the last one is having some belief in you. I know what it's like to have other people believe in me more than I believe in me. It's pretty stuffing good. So have and instill some belief in yourself. Believe that you're worth it. You can do it. Believe that it's worthwhile. And that whatever circumstances you're in can change, and you can drive that change. Believe that you can. You have more power to make change happen than what you might think. A lot more power. So what we're really getting to on this one is getting on with having some belief, or if another word that you might want to use is maybe belief or faith, that you can achieve and do the things that you set out to do. It's all driven by why, right? And little wins help you build your belief and your faith. Faith in you that you can come up with what is your goal and dreams and desires. That you can come up with what it takes to make them happen. So just I'm going to end on that note, and wish you all well, and that remember that your best fan is going to be you. That's your best fan. I know that belief Others' belief in me have played an important role, and it's even more so now that I recognise it. Now, that something that is highly valued. Right? So if you can just put some belief in somebody else, and have faith in someone else, stepping out of their comfort zone and getting things done towards their goals and beliefs, goals and values and dreams, and using their values to and breaking through their limiting beliefs to get to their why, right? Which is their why, what they're passionate about. Right? You can give a little bit of support and instill a little bit of belief that they can achieve and they can do it. So I'm going to leave you on that, and as I'm always going to say is have a great day, and before you go, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.